Howdy, I'm Poppers, and today we are going to be doing something kind of different. Well, not really that different, but I was like thinking, I was like, yo, what are the best written animes? Not like personal, I mean, obviously this list is going to be biased, but like animes that like I think are good, but I also think are written like very well, because there are shows that are very enjoyable, yes, but like, are they written that well? You know, because shows like Haikyuu give you that hype, like the yes! Right? But then there's shows that hit you, that literally hit you where it hurts because of the way they're written. So I have compiled a list of 10 animes that I personally think are written beautifully to the core. Oh, before I do my little like my intro, like like the dun, dun, dun. Nah, look, peep the shirt, yo, this shirt's fire. My mom got it for me. My mom was like, I think I got you an animation. I'm like, let me see. And it was Goku. I was like, I don't even care. This shirt's fire. Whatever. If you guys want to see what I think are the 10 best written animes, you should stick around. All right, starting off this list, I'm gonna start off this list with something that most people agree with, right? And that is the amazing show of Attack on Titan. And Attack on Titan is that type of show where you have to kind of be into anime to kind of like it, but once you're into anime, like let's say you watch 5 episodes already, watch Attack on Titan, because honestly, Attack on Titan is so amazing. From the characters to the depth they put into the storytelling to the fight scenes, everything about Attack on Titan is amazing. I feel like there's not one thing in Attack on Titan that's out of place. You know, I only watch anime, so don't talk about no manga, but from what I've seen in the anime, this anime is amazing, and it reached a point where people will refuse to recommend Attack on Titan like as someone else's first anime because they don't want them to have high expectations for anime, and I think that is beautiful. You know how amazing your show has to be for people to be like, yo, I don't even want to recommend this for how good it is. Catching my drift? You know how crazy that is? Do you understand how crazy that is? Right? But bro, from characters like Levi, Mikasa, Armin, Erwin, bro, Reiner, Eren. I don't even like Eren like that, but these characters are written amazingly. I feel like there's nothing out of place when it comes to Attack on Titan. I honestly think, and I searched this up, it is a modern day epic. What's an epic, Poppers? I don't know, bruh. Like, you know, like the Epic of Gilgamesh, Beowulf, like that's an epic. It doesn't matter. Anyway, Attack on Titan is written beautifully. If you guys don't agree with any of these that I say, let me know in the comments. But next on my list is a show that I see a lot of people not talk about, and that is Psychopath. And I think Psychopath is such an amazing show that doesn't get that much light. From the villain to the protagonist. Well, she's not the protagonist, but from the second protagonist. Bro, these homies are written amazingly. The plot of the show is amazing. It is basically you get arrested before you even do a crime. If your mental state isn't in the right state of mind, you get arrested. And I think this goes perfectly into the human mind and how people perceive justice and what justice actually is. Same with another one on my list, but we're not there yet. But this really goes into depth of like what the world would be if we had a system that will detect criminals before criminals detect themselves. And I think that is crazy because let's say you're walking down the street and they arrest you because you have the potential to be a criminal. You're like, what? I didn't even do anything. It really questions what is right and what is wrong. Should we trust this machine that is telling us what to do, or should we go with our own, you know, justice system? And I honestly think that this show is amazing. I don't want to say too much into it, but it is amazing. I highly recommend you guys watch Psychopath. It's very deep. I think it's deep personally. I think the action is amazing. I think the art style is pretty good, and the characters are freaking amazing, especially the villain. So if you guys want to see something like that, if you like the Death Note and a show like that, I think you would like Psychopath. So yeah, that's show number 2. All right, next show on my list is a show that gets talked about, yes, but I feel like it doesn't get talked about as much, same as Psychopath, and that is Steins Gate. And you're probably saying, but Steins Gate does get talked about a lot, but I don't really see any posts about it. I don't see any, well, maybe because that's just the community I'm in, but I don't see anybody speak about Steins Gate, so I'm gonna do it today. Steins Gate is freaking amazing. From Okabe to Krista to If you know, you know. But this show is freaking amazing. It's basically about time travel and like, you know, this guy trying to like fix the future in the past, and it's like a whole like timeline. But this show is freaking amazing, from the writing of it to the deception to, bro, if you watch the show, you know what I'm talking about. People say the first 12 to 13 episodes are kind of like slow. I honestly didn't think so. When I was watching it, I was captivated. I would highly recommend you guys watching this. This is a show that if you're into like, you know, more serious anime, like, and you're not into like the typical shonen, I would highly recommend Steins Gate, because it really does, it does time travel pretty perfectly. And I think that this is the best time travel anime so far. Because I don't know, Tokyo Revengers, bro, it's coming up. But anyway, that's the point. But I honestly recommend you watch Steins Gate if you're into like the whole like deep philosophical view of things, and like, you know, like an awesome protagonist. You should watch it. You won't regret it. All right, next on my list is a fan favorite, and it has undeniably one of the best protagonists in anime, and that is Code Geass. And Code Geass is amazing. And I know people in my comments are gonna be like, but Code Geass gets carried by its ending. It gets carried by the ending. I don't think so. I went into Code Geass without knowing like Lelouch. I went into Code Geass without knowing anything about Code Geass. I just watched, I didn't even know Code Geass was popular. I didn't even know until after I watched and I started searching it up. But when I watched Code Geass, I can undeniably say that every single episode had me captivated. Yes, even that cat episode. That cat episode actually relieved me. But back to why I think Code Geass is one of the best written animes. First of all, Lelouch is one of the best written protagonists, so that boosts it up like 10 points already. Shuzaku's a freaking GOAT. Shuzaku's written beautifully. It's literally yin and yang, and it's honestly written beautifully. The characters, the power system in that show is awesome. I know people don't like the mechas in the show, but I honestly loved it. Every time Shuzaku was in that mecha or Colin, I was like, yeah, this fire. But I honestly think from Lelouch's ideology of a free world and Shuzaku's ideology of a free world are exactly the same, but the way they went about it was so different. Two people have the same goal, to change the world, to in essence change the world, to free Japan, but they both went about it in a different way, and the supporting cast around them is amazing. I honestly recommend, if you haven't watched Code Geass, I highly recommend, if you haven't watched Code Geass, I would do so immediately, because this show is freaking amazing. All right, next show on my list, because I mostly have been naming action and like, you know, seinen and shonen. I want to throw it back a little bit and go back into the romance category, and that is Tsukigakure. And Tsukigakure is, oh my goodness, one of the best middle school like romances of all time. I'm gonna be honest, when I went into this, I was like, oh, this pacing's a little slow, but as you're watching Tsukigakure, you feel something for these characters, as you do for all the other shows, obviously. But when it comes to romance animes, you feel something different, like something hits home, because in shonen, yes, it gets you hyped, but when it comes to romance and slice of life and shows of like, you know, those genres, it really hits you where it hurts, because Tsukigakure really dives into the minds of these middle schoolers, and I can say without a doubt that these middle schoolers act like middle schoolers. Their parents act like parents. Like, it doesn't feel like you're watching an anime, but you're watching a real show, and the actors are perfect. When it came to the writing of the show, when it came to basically everybody in that show and just the story of the two main characters, it is freaking beautiful. You feel warmth. When you're watching this, you feel something different inside of you that shonen and action and seinen really don't give you. So I honestly recommend, if you're in to watch a romance anime, I would recommend watching Tsukigakure, because Tsukigakure does the romance category beautifully. So if you're looking for a romance, Tsukigakure. All right, next show on my list is honestly a show that a lot of people like, and that is Fate Zero. And honestly, I liked Fate Zero and Fate Stay Night. I love them both, but people say Fate Stay Night is more of, Unlimited Blade Works, of course, is more of a shonen-y type of show instead of like, you know, what Fate Zero was. And I honestly don't agree, but I'm gonna talk about just Fate Zero. Fate Zero is amazing. From Kiritsugu to Kirei to Gilgamesh to freaking Saber. These characters were freaking amazing. From how they were written to how the story was told, and to how what Kiritsugu wanted, what Kiritsugu's wishes to what Kirei's wishes. It is freaking amazing. It is, bro, if you're into action and philosophical, watch Fate Zero, because it really goes to show the lengths of what people are willing to go to make their wish come true. And these aren't some just petty, like, oh, I wish for strength, I wish for power. No, it isn't like that. This dives deep into what people think of what, like I said before, what justice is, what a free world is. Like, people, trust me, the ideologies of the characters in these shows are freaking amazing, and the fight scenes are beautiful. The animation is some of the best animation I have ever seen in anime. So if you're into an anime that's like, you know, what I just described, you should definitely watch Fate Zero. All right, next show on my list is a show that honestly most people have watched, at least I think most people have watched this, and that is Clannad. And Clannad is amazing. When I tell you, Clannad really made me, like, it was one of the first animes that really made me feel something. And yeah, a lot of animes make me feel something, but this really, not that it hit home, it just hit the soul. Like, it just hit my, you know how Ichigo gets his soul hit out of his body with freaking Urahara's cane or Rukia's like punch thing? Yeah, that's what Clannad does. Honestly, I would give you a fair warning. The first season is pretty slow and it does feel dragged out, but trust me, it is worth watching it. I would watch the first season, then watch the second one, and you will feel something that you have never felt. You will feel something that you never thought you could feel. Clannad does an amazing way of, their side characters are amazing. All the girls in the show are amazing. His best friend's amazing. Tomoya himself, Nagisa's amazing. Everyone in that show is amazing. The parents, the characters are written in such a way where you feel something for these characters. Because in shonen, yes, you feel something, but you only feel something because they have all these camera times, but you don't really feel a tie to them. You don't feel this like real connection. Yes, you can say you do feel a connection to them, but something about romance anime just does it differently than these shonen. And Clannad just literally takes your emotion and just, bro, watch Clannad. I don't want to say too much, but watch Clannad. You will love it. You will thank me for watching Clannad. All right, next show on my list is a show that people love. Like, this is undeniably one of the most loved shows, and that is Death Note. And Death Note is amazing. From Light Yagami, from his idea of justice, from L, his idea of justice, to them doing a wild goose chase throughout the entire show. This show is amazing. I know people say like the last about like 10 episodes or so are slow. I honestly don't agree. I think it's beautiful. That ending, people hate on the ending. The ending's written so beautifully with all of the freaking subliminal messaging they have in it. All I'm gonna say is watch Death Note. It really shows like Light's idea of justice in a perfect world, and him in essence wanting to become god of this new world, and L, his idea of justice and his goal throughout the entire show. It is basically yin and yang, like I said, with Shuzaku and Lelouch, and it really shows like the depths of like the justice system and what is truly right and wrong. Because who am I to say? Who are you to say what is right? You can agree with L, you can agree with Light, but is L right? Is Light wrong? You know what I'm trying to say? It really boils down to what you personally believe, because at the end of the day, who are you to say that what Light was doing was wrong? Who am I to say what L was doing was right? And that's why I love freaking Death Note, because it really puts people in their shoes, and it really shows you the depths of people, and it really shows like what you feel, what is justice, what you think is justice. So if honestly, you should just watch it. If you probably have, but watch Death Note. Okay, this one is number 9, by the way, and this one is a silent voice, and this is actually the only movie on my list, but I had to include this because A Silent Voice was amazing. I'm not gonna lie, at times it did feel a little dragged out, but the characters, the redemption, every scene made you feel something. It made you really grow to love these characters, and that's crazy for a movie to do that. For a movie to make you love the characters as much as you did, and aside, well, not really all the characters, but just like the main two. But honestly, it is amazing. It really shows how the redemption arc of one boy, a deaf girl who is basically like I don't know, I don't want to say too much, but watch this. If you liked Your Name, I haven't watched Your Name, but if you liked Your Name, supposedly you would like A Silent Voice, and I would highly recommend A Silent Voice, because it really, this is something that like most people deal, well, not most people, but kids do deal with, like when it comes to like bullying and things. Like, it really shows like how much that can affect somebody and how much that can affect the actual bully. And I love how it's just an amazing show. I don't want to go too deep into it and start spoiling, but watch A Silent Voice, you will not regret it. And the last show on my list is, honestly, this isn't in order, by the way, this is just my personal favorite, and it is Origairu, or My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu. Bro, when I tell you, this show will change the way you think. It will get you out of that adolescent, pubescent thing. Yo, stop, why am I rapping for? But it'll really get you out of this childlike state of mind. I honestly think Origairu is one of the best animes ever created. I think it does high school good, and I can't really talk for like, you know, like how girls think, because I obviously don't know. But when it came to Hachi, man, I kind of agree. When the story progressed, right, as the story started, I agreed with Hachi, man. I was thinking like, yo, like youth sucks, youth's a lie. There's no way you people all like each other. You guys are just building these fake relationships on top of fake relationships. For what? For what? You know, I thought this because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't have friends up until freaking 8th grade, and seeing a character written that way, I was like, no way. And as he grew, I felt I grew with him. Hachiman begins to become caring. He starts to do things that his old self would have never done. He starts to contradict everything he says. He starts to lie to himself. He starts to become the thing he used to hate. And that was fake youth, and that was pretending, because he felt everyone was pretending, right? He thought he was the only real one in a world full of phonies. But then he starts to realize that these people aren't faking it. These people have reasons for the way they act. He honestly feels that he's become what he's hated, and he realizes that he was hating for nothing. And when it comes to the female characters like Yukino, their development, Yui's development, it really goes to show how relationships can be built, although you are the complete opposite or the complete same. It's honestly amazing, and I think everyone should give Origairu a watch, because Origairu is so good. And I know I mostly talked about Hachiman in the video, but Hachiman is honestly just an amazing protagonist, and I honestly recommend anybody give this a watch. So if you're in for a romance that is like comedy, but mostly comedy, but it does have its really deep moment, and that can honestly alter the way you think, because there are many scenes that you're like, yo, like, snap, this dude is different. And not different in the way of like the shonen hype, but this dude is different with his ideologies and the way he thinks. So if you're looking for like a romance that's like that, Origairu's for you. And with all that being said, those were 10 animes that I think are written beautifully. If you guys want to include any other animes, let me know, because I personally, bro, I could have included Jujutsu Kaisen. Yo, why are you hating on me for? But Food Wars is written amazing, right? No? Okay. Anyway, that is the video, guys. You wanna like the dang video, bro, because this is gonna take mad editing, and yeah, like the dang video. If you guys stuck around, thank you. And anyway, like I always say, I am just a weeb, so what do I know? Deuce.